Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
You know, Chris, I had the remix of that and didn't even know it. It was all hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. It was all must because I had YouTube on watching it at the same time. It was playing the remix, so that wasn't even planned. So hopefully Facebook doesn't ding us for having that on there this week, right? So what's up? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 6, the rundown presented by the Players Football Association. As always, I'm Brian Mitchum, your director of media development, and with me, as always, director of podcasting, Chris Cousins. How you doing, man? It feels like episode 20, but it's only episode 6. How you doing tonight?
Man, I am doing great, Brian. Man, it's great to be here, bro. I'm so excited right now. As you can see, I'm in hoodie mode. You know what I mean? It's training.
That must be cold in Ohio.
It's training season. That means we are literally 1 week away from semi-pro Midwest Madness to take place, and I can't wait. I'm like a kid at Christmas right now. I can't wait to go see football. I can't wait to go see football next weekend, man. I'm so serious. I really cannot wait. So I am excited, man. We definitely got a great show for you guys tonight. We got Mr. Logan Payne on, the head coach of the West Side Cheetahs. He's going to stop by with us tonight. We also have the player rep and the head coach and owner of the Glass City Tigers, Monte Abrams and Robert Anderson is going to be with us this evening. Also, this is a very special guest, I know, for me and for Brian. You know, in the small semi-media world that we do have, you know, there are some pioneers, you know, if I can call those. And we have one that's going to be joining us this evening, the play-by-play voice of the Racine Raiders, a friend of the show, Mr. Don, if I'm saying this right, Wadewitz, is going to be joining us this
evening. The man, the myth, the legend.
Man, I can't wait to get to be able to pick his brain about some of the things that he does for those guys up in Racine. But we definitely can't wait to get to those interviews and those folks for you. So just sit back, relax. We got a vid coming up. We'll be right back with the rundown.
And we're back. You know, I had music to those to let us know when we were coming back from the break, Chris. You know, of course, you know it happened last time, so I'm not going to even mess with it. But yeah, whatever.
We're going to figure it out.
The book needs Zuck needs to mind his own business and let us do our thing. But once again, don't forget the PFA has partnered with the MFOC. Every year, the MFOC has a ref clinic in Ohio where Division 2 and 3 referees get together and are critiqued by Division 1 and even NFL refs. This year, the PFA has partnered with them, and there'll be 8 teams playing 4 games March 24th in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. Teams will get the chance to get some practice in and showcase a little bit, and the refs will get a chance to showcase their skills and maybe teach the players and coaches something, and they'll learn from each other.
Yeah, this is orchestrated in partnership with, like you said, the MFOC and, of course, our PFA. 4 games, 8 teams. All the games are going to be slated to kick off at noon. Again, I say that again. All the games are going to be set to kick off at noon on March 24th with the first matchup that I'm going to announce right now is going to be at Walnut Hills. Okay, that's the upper field at Walnut Hills. It's going to be the Southern Indiana Bobcats from the MCFL versus the Kentucky Insanity from the BCFL. All right, that's going to be one of the games you can go check out on March 24th. Again, that's at Walnut Hills High School. That's going to be the upper field. All right, and that's going to be at 12 noon. That's going to be those Indiana Bobcats, those Southern. I want to leave that out there. Those Southern Indiana Bobcats and the Kentucky Insanity. They're going to be playing up there. What you got next there, Brian?
Yeah, that's right, man. The Bobcats are making some moves again in the offseason. They're picking up some great players, and they take on the Kentucky Insanity out of the BCFL. Game number 2 will also be at Walnut Hills on the lower field. The Columbus Gladiators out of the BCFL versus the Michigan Hurricanes out of the MCFL. Both great teams. You know, Columbus was in Florida this year. Michigan Hurricanes made a good run last year.
Definitely did.
Good game at the same location. All you got to do is walk downstairs, and boom, you're at 2 games.
Right, and then for the third game, all right, that's going to be at Roger Bacon High School. Again, I say Roger Bacon High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. You can Google that for the address if you're going to be attending that game. We'll probably leave it somewhere here on the chat or in on the PFA page. We'll definitely probably get the address out there sooner or later. But it's going to be the Flag City Phantoms of the PFA, our PFA, against the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack of the PFA.
It's going to be a good game.
So for us in the PFA, we're kicking off the season next week. 2 teams, preseason game. It's definitely going to count. Flag City Phantoms, definitely a team to be reckoned with coming into this season. Made a lot of noise last season. We talked to the coach. We talked to him. We saw how he feels about going into this season. And we got the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack, a mixture of a lot of things over there, a lot of signings, a lot of good players.
Yep.
Can't wait to see them on the field. So that is the third game. Again, that's going to be at Roger Bacon High School. Again, 12 p.m. Roger Bacon High School. You can catch Flag City Phantoms and Northern Kentucky Wolfpack. All right, and then the fourth game. Man, this is where it gets a little awesome. Okay, this is where it gets a little where we get a chance to take semi-pro, like we say, to another level. All right, we are going to be able to play this last game at Nieperk Stadium. And if you don't know what Nieperk Stadium is, that is the home to the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. Okay, that means we're going to be playing on the same field that the University of Bearcats play on, and that is a great day for the PFA. Okay, not even the PFA, just semi-pro period. So I'm just going to clap it up for the semi-pro right now. That is a great thing to happen. And the 2 teams that are going to be playing in that game are none other than the Sin City Bucks of the PFA and the Northeast Ohio Pit Bulls of the PFA. And I can't wait to see that, Brian. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could make it down for those games, too. Thanks to the PFA, the MFOC, and especially shout out to our Director of Officials and Assistant Director of Officials, Mr. Andy Hamilton and Daniel Palmer. Without those 2 guys, this would have never, ever taken place. And Duncan, too, of course. But no other league can do this. No other league will do this. So despite all the haters, I won't mention any of the leagues out there. But hey, we'll just give them some sugar for that haterade, right, Chris?
That's right, man.
And shout out to the Sin City Bucks. They know what I'm talking about, but they're a big help in this opportunity too. And for the teams involved, and it shows what amazing things can happen when leagues, teams, players, referees come together to change the sport and change the narrative of semi-pro football.
Man. And again, all these games that we are talking to you about can be caught on March 24th, 12 noon. All the games are going to be going on consecutively at 12 noon. March 24th, 12 noon. The first two games that we mentioned are going to be taking place at Walnut Hills High School in the Cincinnati area. The third game is going to be taking place at Roger Bacon. Did I say that correct again, Brian? Roger Bacon High School. And then the last game, last but not least, that game will be played at the University of Cincinnati, Hibbert Stadium.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the outcomes of these games and reports back from you guys and the media team. Definitely, I'll be trying to follow it a little bit on that day. But yeah, it's kicking off in a couple of weeks. Actually, next week, right? Next week's the 24th.
I can't wait, Brian. It is really going down next week. I got my bag packed. I got a lunch already, like kind of like not really started, like what I'm gonna end up packing for lunch.
You got a little brown bag like in school.
Yeah,
you pick it up before you go on the bus.
Getting all my vegetables and all my fruits and everything situated. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna have to like run, literally the rundown through all these games because I'm trying to catch, interviews with all the players, all the coaches, during halftime, during the game. So I'm gonna be literally running back and forth through all these games, hopefully to be able to give you, the fans, the viewers, some of the inside scoop behind the scenes of what's going down at the event next week. And I know I'm going to have some other people in the building. I know Schem's going to be in the building. We also have some other media from the PFA that's going to be definitely hands-on with making sure you guys actually have access to watch and view these games next week, man. It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be one heck of an event. Chris is like a kid in the candy store on Christmas Day, ready to open those presents. But let's jump right into the show. Our first guest could be very well the youngest head coach in the PFA. I'm not sure. We'll have to check on that, Chris. He is the head coach of the Westside Cheetahs, as well as we have the owner of the Westside Cheetahs, none other than Alex Payne and Alex Evans and Logan. I'm so sorry, guys. It's been a long ass day. It's hot in Florida. I've worked like 12 hours. I'm on call. Just forgive me. Can't see you guys. You guys need to turn the phones, get closer together and kind of cuddle up. I don't know.
There we go. We can try to get both of you in there.
There we go.
All right. How's it going, fellas? We got this.
Can you hear us? Can't hear you.
Sorry.
Not sure.
You got is your mute button on? Who's got it connected to the car? Somebody's got it. Somebody's got the Bluetooth connected to the car. I already know what it is. Happens to me all the time.
I was able to hear him before we went live. I checked. I hope there's not a baby in that car seat.
Baby on board. Hey, I like this already. It's gonna be a great interview.
He can hear me. He can hear us. We just can't hear him.
Can we just take him back out and jump on back in?
Yeah. Why don't you guys jump? You guys jump back in on this. I'm gonna kick you out and then jump back in on that link.
While we're doing that, shout out to Jimmy Melton. Thanks for joining in as always. See you in the chat. Shout out to Dante Hart. See you in the chat. Appreciate you joining in.
Dante Hart is going to come on the show probably halfway through the season. He already told me he would, so we're going to hold him to that. And I'm not even sure what team he plays for now. I think it's the Tornadoes, but I don't know. It's either the Bobcats or the Tornadoes, but I think it's the Tornadoes this year.
Oh, okay. He might be able to help me answer my question. I don't know the dude's name that got some interceptions against us when I played against him.
You're still stuck on that, aren't you?
Bro, I am so stuck on that because I am not lying about it. It is a real thing and it happened. I was there.
All right, let's try this again. We're gonna bring Logan and Alex back in.
Okay.
Now it's black. What the heck,
Oh.
guys?
Hold on.
You guys there?
I heard somebody.
I heard them.
Yeah, we're here.
Now the screen's black. There we go. There we go.
Hey,
What's
There
up,
we
guys?
There
Hey,
we
you
go.
know
How you doing?
it's been a couple of weeks since we had a show. There's always some kind of glitches.
now we're cooking with grease.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you taking time out today, fellas, to join us on the show, man. Always glad to have you guys on there, owner and also coach of a new team in the PFA. So just getting things started off, how did you guys bring the organization about, and what made you want to, be an owner of a semi-pro team?
I played 14 years growing up football. Ended up blowing some scholarships, getting in trouble. So I ended up joining semi-pro when I turned about 19. And I actually played for the Kentucky Spartans for a little bit. And they wasn't showing me as much love as I felt like I deserved. So I branched off and made my own team and kind of pulled some of the guys with me from their team.
Okay.
And that's just how we started. I was like, I want a team and I want to strive and give people something other to do than to get in trouble around here, because there's a lot of that going on in our city, and just I know we can put that energy elsewhere and make it positive.
For sure. The key is the players buying in. So as a new team, and there's so many teams out there, what are you guys bringing to the table for these players to, besides giving them something to do to stay out of trouble, to attract the top tier players? What are you guys doing as an organization?
Doing a lot of scouting, around the high schools around here, Kentucky, also Indiana, because we're right across from Indiana. Doing a lot of scouting online, seeing a lot of top talents that were in high schools around and recruiting them. Also getting some players that some of our players knew or played with in high school. But what we're offering them is just somewhere to get recognized and get seen. And maybe if they didn't get recognized in high school, we're putting them in a league where they can get noticed if they're good enough and put in the work.
Gotcha.
All right, now, fellas, I'm always about the swag and the confidence, and I didn't see the logo. I can't wait to see the jerseys. So, like, what's the name? What's the thing behind the name? What made y'all want to be the West Side Cheetahs? You know what I'm saying? The brand. How did y'all come up with that?
The West Side Cheetahs. So in our city, we practice on the West Side. Pretty much all of our guys that play from our city are on the West Side. So we just said West Side. Then we wanted an animal that's fierce and dominant, but not something that's already been used by everybody else, like Bengals or Bears or Lions, NFL shit at college. You know what I'm saying? We wanted something unique. We wanted something nobody else has used before, but also dominant. And the cheetahs are the fastest animals out there, and we base our team off of speed a lot. And we want a lot of fast players, so I feel like cheetah just fit.
That's great. That's awesome, man. Now, Logan, we talked about in chat back and forth that you might be the youngest head coach in the league, but as a coach, how many years have you been coaching? Is this your first year coaching, and what do you expect out of your players this season?
It is my first year coaching, and what I expect out of all these guys is just to give me their 110% every play, every drive, put their trust in me to help them get to nationals, and I put my trust in them to get us there.
Awesome.
Now, Coach, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse there a little bit. You said all the way to nationals now. I mean,
That's our
you
goal for the year.
Yeah, I mean, you got some. I'm just saying, if you got the tools in the woodshed, just let us know. We know who you got coming on the field here.
We might. You might just have to come see the preseason game on April 14th and give us your.
Okay, tell us why we got you on here April 14th. Who you guys playing April 14th?
We're playing the Kentucky Spartans at 1 p.m.
Kentucky Spartans, 1 p.m. Is that going to be your home field, or where you guys playing at?
It's going to be on their home field at the airport in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Not the infamous airport, is it? With that has does it really have inflatable field goal post? I heard it did.
Yeah, they did use those.
There was another team that played. Was there another team that played there? Maybe it was the Spartans. Maybe they were a different team before. I don't know.
They used to have a different name.
Okay.
Yeah, they
We
used to be the
definitely
Raptors.
send us that information. So we definitely can put it up on the, you know what I'm saying, put it up on the chat, put it up on the wall, so we can make sure we get some footage out there, man. I'm ready to see what's going on. West Side Cheetahs, you know what I mean? West Side Cheetahs.
We'll really hit a put ourselves on the map this year.
Definitely, you guys got a pretty good, packed schedule. You guys start off with the Cincinnati Dukes week 1, and then you go to Evansville and play the Elite. And I mean, you guys got some good matchups in the season. So look forward to seeing what you guys do and see if you guys how far you guys can go, man.
Yep, we're ready for it. So.
All right, well, fellas, we appreciate you guys taking time out your busy schedules to join us on the show, man. As always, man, please, you are more than welcome to come back on the show if you ever guys have time. While we have you on, before we do let you go, please tell us how how the team can be reached, how you guys can be reached. Your information. Go ahead, shout it out.
You can reach either one of us on Facebook at mine is Logan Payne, his is Alex Evans, or we can get back with y'all through our team page, which is Westside Cheetahs.
Okay. Awesome, guys. And again, thanks for coming on. And I know you're probably at practice right now, so we'll let you guys get to it and hit us back and let us know when you're going to come back on, maybe in mid-season or something.
Will
Awesome.
do.
Sounds good. Thank you for having us.
Yep, no problem.
I gotta throw up the dubs when y'all score touchdowns.
West Side Cheetahs, baby. West Side Cheetahs.
All right, fellas.
That was yeah.
Hey, I can't wait for that. I'm anxious. I like new teams. You know what I'm saying? They bring in a lot of, you know what I'm saying, new energy. You know what I'm saying, new blood. And I like the fact that they picked something that nobody has used. You ain't heard nothing about no cheetah. You know, that remind me of back in the PAFL. There was a team of Jaguars. Nobody had used the Jaguars for a long time. It's just nice to hear new names and newer teams, and it's not just reused. Because it's a lot. It's always a lot of that. So shout out to the West Side.
Nice to see some originality, somewhat. You know.
But here we go, man. I want to shout out to them, and we're going to jump into this commercial break, this video, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys? The rundown.
Man, it was so much cooler with the music in the background. I'm
bet it
so
was,
mad.
man.
I worked
Yeah.
so hard to find the right music, and it was like, "Here Comes the Boom," that song, "Here Comes the Boom," and it was like,
Because those schedules are
damn it,
so
Facebook.
those schedules are so fire. Those schedules are so fire. Those are some of the best schedules I've seen in a long time. There's going to be a lot of it's going to be. I hate to say it, but it's going to be a lot of L's taking place. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing when it's good competition. It's really not. It's not a bad thing when you lose against a great team.
No,
It actually
no.
makes you a better team. So man, it's going man. Next week, man. Next week starts it off. I can't wait.
You know, it's almost guaranteed that there will be no undefeated team in the PFA because of all the competition.
Hey, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on
Pretty
that.
good chance that
Somebody
not
gonna have
one
to
team will
prove
be
it wrong.
undefeated.
Somebody gonna have to prove it wrong. But I'm with you on that though, Brian.
If
I'm
you
with you on
play,
that.
if you play a kind of schedule that any of these PFA teams play, and you go undefeated, then you'll be on the throne. But you know, if you're just staying in your home state playing the same teams over and over again, well, we can go on and on about that. But our next guest is the play-by-play voice of the legendary minor league football team known as the Racine Raiders. If you've not heard of that name, you should probably Google it. You've probably been under a rock for a long time. Friend of the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Don Wadewitz. Oh, and he was there. Now he's not. There he is. There he is. What's up, Don?
Too big
How
of
are
an
you?
introduction, Brian, Chris. Way too big of an introduction there. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut like everyone else, gentlemen.
No.
We gotta pay homage, man. We gotta pay homage to the people who've done it before us, who made this platform, you know what I'm saying, available and accessible for people like us, man. You have done it, sir, and we applaud those things, man. We definitely do. You get your roses from us.
Thank you. It's funny because I was just having a conversation with somebody. We were talking about semi-pro and the state of semi-pro and how people, like guys that come and they start playing, they think that's when semi-pro started, right? Or they start a team and they played for like 5 years. They think that's when semi-pro started, and they don't understand the rich history of it going back, you know, talk about Watertown Red and Black and stuff like that. Over 100 years this has been going on. And I even throw it back to the old NFL days. I mean, those were old town teams, right? And they were doing the same stuff that we're out here doing nowadays. And that's how the NFL kind of had its roots and got started. And that's where we're at with semi-pro, but people don't understand that history. And I think this would be a lot better product, Chris and Brian, if a lot of these guys understood that like you guys do.
Definitely.
Well, Don, one of the things I have to ask you, because like I said, I'm a fan, I've been a player, so I definitely know of the Racine Raiders. Like, how does one become the voice of the Racine Raiders? Like, how did that opportunity land in your lap?
So when I graduated college, I was looking for something to do. I had a broadcasting degree, but I went and I interviewed and got offered a job out near Wisconsin Dells, which is a big tourist trap here in Wisconsin, if anybody's heard of it.
Yep.
They wanted to pay me like $15,000 a year for a radio job. And they're like, if you really bust your tail in the summer, they're like, you know, basically you can make a living. And I'm like, I like my summers. I don't want to be working that hard during my summers. I want my summers to be a little bit free, you know? And so I was looking for something that I could do with my broadcasting degree and a little bit of background in sports marketing. And so I reached out to the Raiders, knowing about them, knowing that they're a nonprofit organization in my hometown where I grew up and everything, wanted to give back to my hometown. And they're like, yeah, come back next year. This season's almost over. And so I came back the next year, and then they found out that I actually had a broadcasting background. They're like, hey, would you want to do sideline reporting? Because we had a legendary person doing our broadcast, Gary Sewer, AFA Hall of Famer. He started all this, right? He started sports broadcasting in Racine, and he was kind of cutting back a little bit. He retired, and then a couple of other gentlemen, John Wasik and Joe Mooney, they took it over. And then after a few years, they put in like 20 years with the team, and Joe actually more than that probably. And they're like, we're kind of to the point of being done. I kind of filled in for him and everything, and they kind of handed it off to me. And one of the things is you got to be humble. In the broadcasting world, you really got to be humble because Gary Sewer, somebody who'd done it for 50 years, Joe Mooney, somebody else who's another AFA Hall of Famer who restarted the Racine Raiders, right? I'm filling in the shoes of these guys, and I'm like, man, people would come up to me and be like, you're never going to be the voice of the Racine Raiders, right? And I'm like, it's a title that's earned. I totally get it. I would never put that title on myself. That's what the fans believe. That's got to come from the fans, and so never looked at it as I was the voice of the Racine Raiders. I looked at it as how do I carry on this tradition, and how do I prepare others to carry on the tradition after I decide that I'm going to hang up the headset.
Definitely. You've earned your spot in Racine history and as the voice. Well respected, Don. So again, good to catch up with you, and we haven't talked in a while. I had you on my podcast a couple times, and it was fun chatting with you. So I definitely made it a top priority to have you on this show. So,
hey, I appreciate getting the opportunity to come on, guys, and this is great what you're doing. This is great what the PFA is doing. I led the committee that looked at leagues when the Raiders had to make a decision a couple of years ago, and we were very impressed with the PFA, and it's only continued to grow from there. So, major shout out for you guys. Great job on what Mr. Duncan and both of you have done with the media part of this. You're really kind of elevating things, and that's the important thing. Keep elevating things because you want to pull people up with you, right? You don't want to get dragged down by them. And that's one of the challenges of this level is so many people are looking to tie an anchor to you and bring you to their level instead of being able to use a hot air balloon and ride up above it all, right?
Yep, that is so true. Don is preaching the gospel, isn't he, Chris?
Definitely is. Leading me right to my next question, I was going to ask you about the partnership that kind of Racine and the PFA has kind of had over this last year, kind of helping fill some games last season, I know. And now we're going into this season. I know the Michigan Bills and Flag City has actually stepped up to the plate to go against Racine this upcoming season. What are your take on those two teams and going against your Racine Raiders this year?
Semi-pro is so hard, right? You try and look at one year and look ahead to the next, and you just never know what's going to happen. There's not scouting out there, right? We're not the NFL. We're not college football and those sorts of things. I appreciate everybody that's going out there, that's doing things the right way, putting a positive spin on it, and that are trying to, again, improve this level of football. I've put so much into it. You guys have put so much into it. I just love to see when there's people out there that are getting that opportunity to be able to play. I respect the players so much. I may have disagreements with people and things along those lines, but all these guys are going out there and they're just putting it all on the line. I respect that so much, especially when they're doing it in the right way. And I'm looking forward to it. The PFA, the games that have been put together that Mr. Duncan has gotten together for the Raiders. Those were some tremendous games. I mean, Sin City last year, wow, they really came out. They hit us in the mouth right off the bat. And I'm sitting up there in the box going, wow, not what I expected here, and just all sorts of great games have happened. And last year was just such an amazing season for the Racine Raiders and just what we accomplished and going on the road so much, because people constantly have been saying Racine doesn't go on the road. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. One of them is if you have an opportunity to play at a former NFL field and you have an opportunity to play in front of 1,000+ fans, we want to invite you into that. We want to bring you in and experience that. And we want to sit there and show you how it can be done and show you what this can be when you put in the work, and to reward you in that way. So yeah, there's reasons. There's real reasons why, we end up playing more at home. But last year, over 5,000 miles on the road. I mean,
Man.
that's insane. I
crazy.
compared it. I mean, do you guys remember the Kane County Eagles? I compared it to their run in the NAFL that one year, 20 years ago, I think it was 2003 maybe, where they just kind of ran through a gauntlet all across the country and won a national championship. And that's what came to mind last year. I mean, that reminded me so much of when I did UW Whitewater football, and we would sit there and get to travel all over the country deep into the playoffs and things along those lines. I mean, it was so rewarding last year. It was such a special season. And I don't know, I've never felt anything like that in my 20 plus years in semi-pro. And I don't know that I'll feel that again, but it was really special.
Now, Don, we know the town of Racine loves the Raiders. And when we say the town, when you say the town shows up for these games, paint us a picture of game day and how the town of Racine supports the Raiders.
Oh man, it starts about you have people out there. I get to the field typically between 2:30 and 3 in the afternoon to start setting up for everything that we need to do with our broadcast. And I'd say by about 4, you have people that are already out there tailgating. So you got that atmosphere going on. Awesome. People cooking and drinking out in the parking lot, having a good time, music blasting from multiple different tailgate parties. I mean, it's not just one tailgate party, guys. This is like, you have like a dozen tailgate parties going on. It's just tremendous. And then inside the stadium, one of the things at this level of football that a lot of owners don't get is people aren't into coming out just for sport anymore, right? I mean, look at minor league baseball. It's out there. It's like people want that entertainment. They come and yeah, the game's great and they want to see the home team win, but they really want that entertainment value. And so we really try and do things. We have different things for stoppages of play. At halftime, we have a Domino's Pizza halftime football toss. We do a bike giveaway to a boy and girl every game. We have a community organization area that has activities. You can do video gaming. You can go to the kids tent and there's all sorts of stuff going on there. Sometimes we have small 1-2-piece bands that are playing, full concessions. You can buy beer, soda, Gatorade, all the food that you want. It's all set up and everything. And people just come in and those cowbells get going. It gets raucous at Historic Orlick Athletic Field. It is an experience. And I hope that people that aren't familiar with us, that are out there, that they understand that they need to get their team to Racine in their careers to experience this, because it really is something that I think a lot of people feel is special.
Heck yeah. Chris, I think Duncan needs to send us on a field trip to experience how the media works in Racine. I think that's a good
I've had the pleasure of going up there, and if I could describe it in a way that somebody can understand, it's almost like a field of dreams. Like if you build it, they will come. Like it's so. But he says the town it's Varsity Blues, when they really like shut down the town. Like they're like, town shut down, bro. Like, and really comes to the game and tailgates and new. Like, he's not exaggerating any of this to a spectacle. Like, it is the mecca of semi-pro football. Like, I was just there to watch the game. I wasn't even there playing in one. I can only imagine the energy on the field as a player playing in that game, how it would have felt. So, like, it is. I agree with him. You want people to like come and experience. Want your team to be able to come and experience that, to see that there is more to what you think semi-pro truly is and what you might think it has been. And this is what semi-pro can become if it's taken care of and done right. And so I love going to Racine.
Well, hey, Chris, I mean, as a fan, this is a football field. It's marked for football. That's the only thing that gets played on there. There's no lacrosse. There's no track and field. There's no track around it. The fans are right up on your backs, whether you're the home team or the visitor, and it can get loud down there. And as far as the support, I'm sure you guys saw it when we came back from the national championship game out in Baltimore. We got in at 3 a.m. or something, and we just put out where I'm on the bus, and I'm like, I'll just put out a little social media thing that our ETA is about 3 o'clock in the morning. Didn't expect anybody to be there, but we're sitting there and we're coming. You talk about Field of Dreams. We're coming down the street. We're coming down High Street, and all of a sudden I'm looking down and I'm like, oh crap! I'm like, there are car headlights pulling into the parking lot. There are people just milling around, just waiting.
That's awesome.
All of a sudden they see the bus and people are in the parking lot, maybe tailgating at 2 in the morning, and they're running across the street, and I'm just like, wow. I'm like, man, this is really something. This is really something special. I don't know that would have happened anywhere else in the country at this level. It was just phenomenal to be part of and to see.
Now, Don, another season's obviously upon us. I mean, the Raiders are probably getting ready to get back to work. You guys won your season last year, won the championship. Like you said, you traveled to most of those games. Going into this year, defending your championship, what challenges did the Raiders face this year to get that repeat?
Obviously there's always going to be a bigger target on your back, right? So that's one big thing with it all. And there's some guys that after they won a championship, they're going to hang up the cleats. It's always hard to tell. You guys know, we hear that there's retirements and then guys don't show up for, the OTAs and the practices in the first couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden they get that itch again and they come back. So we'll see. We'll see where that lines up. It's always hard to find the big men, right? So we'll see how the. What was that?
I retired like 4 times. I already know the feel.
Right. So it's always hard to find the big men and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes. That offensive and defensive line is where it all begins. It really sets the tone for everything else. All those bullies up front on both sides of the ball. Andre Locke is back, and I saw that he posted something where we've had one quarterback in Racine Raiders history that has gone unbeaten in his entire career, played 2 seasons for us, went like 27-0, and I saw that Andre had posted something with that going challenge accepted. And he has that opportunity with coming into his second year with the team, having played obviously with a bunch of the Chicago teams down there before, but he's really bought in and shown a whole lot of leadership. And so, he's going to be the catalyst for the team, hoping that we get some of our running backs back. We made that run, and we didn't have our first and second string running backs most of the season.
Wow.
I mean, we were with Howard triplet for much of the season, and then we lost Jalen Edmondson, who was a stud at UW-Whitewater, national powerhouse. He came and he got hurt in that Sin City game. I think both him and Howard got hurt in that Sin City game. We were without Jalen the rest of the season. Howard was able to come back, and then we lost him again. So we were really doing that without the number 1 and number 2 running backs, everything that we ran through last year. And Racine Raiders football, for 70 years, it's been about the ground game and to pound it down your throat. So it'll be interesting to see what's in the backfield for us this year. And I wasn't able to make the OTA, the first OTA, so I'm not really sure what that all looks like right now.
Well, I'm sure. No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, I definitely can't wait to see what you guys got coming up. I know he is you guys' basically stud in the backfield, coming into, like you said, his second season. So definitely can't wait to see what the season up brings for him and you guys. But it is definitely a pleasure to have you on the show, man. I wish we could talk longer. We got to get to some more interviews tonight, man. But it is always a pleasure to have you on here. I want you to come back. Hopefully, we can do like a Racing PFA game, show coverage, simulcast going down. It'll be great.
We welcome you guys anytime. You just let me know, and I'll make sure that we have the arrangements to be able to accommodate you in the box or wherever else we need. So we love having guests and showing them what we have.
And hopefully Duncan's watching, Chris, and he's booking our airline tickets for us, right?
First class.
Yeah.
I would love that. We want to fly you Southwest. You know, make them pay for those upgrades. So
heck, I'd fly Spirit if I get to come to a football game. I don't care.
None of that food will do it enough.
Well, Don, it's always great catching up with you, man. And like I said, friend of the show always. Anytime you want to come on, and we'll definitely get you back on in the middle of the season or something. And good luck, best of luck to you guys in this upcoming season. And we'll definitely be following you guys.
Thanks, Jensen. Anytime you want me, I'm yours. So you just let me know.
Awesome. You have a great night.
You too. Bye, guys.
All right. Hey, I'm sorry I had to pause, my man, on that one. Love you.
We got our foot in the door. All we gotta do is get there, right?
Yeah, all we gotta do is get there. But on that note, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna have our last and final interview with those Glass City Tiger boys.
That's right. And first of all, let's go ahead and meet the staff for the 2024 season for the PFA. And we're back.
Shout out to the team of the PFA front office, man. Shout out to the team, to the board, man. Everybody on there, great people, great individuals. One common goal, one common factor. I love it.
Hardest working front office staff in minor league football. That's hands down. But we are back. Don't forget, everybody, the MFOC Clinic, March 24th, Cincinnati, Ohio. 4 games, 8 teams. Having officials from several different leagues. I can't even remember all the leagues, but there's going to be a ton of them. Kickoff at noon. Look for the PFA Facebook page for updates and announcements and the latest news on that event.
Without further ado, we say, I don't want to say it like this. We just, in my opinion, because I played my high school ball in the 419 in Toledo, Ohio, in the Glass City.
Hey, Chris, our guest ain't on. You know, he's not in the chat. I don't know.
Wait, come on.
I was trying to stop you before you had that great introduction. He's not on. I don't know what.
I need to talk to him tonight.
Monty, where are you?
Monty or Mr. Henderson, Robert Henderson. Mr. Robert Henderson, head coach. I need you fellas. Just a little bit of your time. We were. I was trying to introduce. Hopefully, I can get on here, but I was trying to introduce the head coach, owner, and player rep for the Glass City Tigers, Mr. Robert Henderson, and Monty Abrams for the Glass City Tigers out of Toledo, Ohio, 419 Glass City. I keep saying Glass City because it means something different when you put the mud. Football up there, it's tough, it's rugged, it's hard. The weather is crazy. It will.
Oh, and now we lost Chris. Chris, where'd you go? You're leaving me hanging, buddy. All right, we're gonna take a short break again, and hopefully Chris get back on. Not sure, he's probably having some technical difficulties. Oh, there he is. Never mind. We're gonna bring him back on.
Okay.
Yeah. Grindhard said you set up the whole introduction and you didn't the guest wasn't on there. I said I said he can't you can't see who's not in the rating room, only I can.
Oh man, it's gonna be a great one. I had it all like planned because like I had it lined up. I even wrote it down. Usually, you John write stuff down. I'm usually off the cuff. I wrote this one down this time. I wrote it. I wanted to say it just the right way. So I'm gonna need. Hopefully, we get my fellows on here. If not this evening, I'll save it for another day. But we definitely wanted to talk to them about this upcoming season. They also have a podcast show themselves, Glass City Tigers. I think it's every Saturday. They do it. I believe it's every Saturday. They have their own podcast show, Glass City Tigers. I'm not sure what time it comes on. You can check their Facebook page for that information. But the Glass City Tigers team, this is the third season in the PFA. Definitely a team looking to be on the move as a contender in this league coming up this 2024 season. That's why we definitely wanted to have him on the show. And no lie, I love Coach Henderson, man. He's good for TV. The funny guy.
Somebody said Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. Wednesday.
The show's on Wednesday, Glass City.
Yeah,
thank you, Gene, for letting us know.
We don't want to, but yeah, on Wednesdays they have a podcast show. Robert Henderson. I said Robert Henderson. Hey, somebody tagging him in the chat or something. I keep seeing that he put his name on there.
We'll give him a few more minutes to see if we can stall a few more minutes, and we'll see if they're going to jump on. If not, we can have them on next show. Back to the MFOC thing. Like I said, 4 great games. Matchup number 1 at Walnut Hills High School, Upperfield, is the Southern Indiana Bobcats out of the MCFL versus the Kentucky Insanity out of the BCFL. Matchup number 2 will be at Walnut Hills High School in the lower field. That's the Columbus Gladiators versus the Michigan Hurricanes. Both teams are great. Another good game at the same location, 2 games for 1. And the third game is at Roger Bacon High School in the Cincinnati area, the Flag City Phantoms versus the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack, both PFA teams. But the grand finale game, or they're all going on at the same time. So the fourth game takes place at none other than Nippert Stadium, the home of the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. The Sin City Bucks out of the PFA versus the Neo Pit Bulls, also out of the PFA. Both of these teams have been champions. Obviously, the Pit Bulls, Chris, you were with them the first year they won that game, right?
Hey, let me just say, Pit Bulls and the Gladiators just had a little combined scrimmage this past weekend. Some video footage got leaked out. I seen what happened to one of your linebackers when Dustin Dye came pulling around that trap hole.
Hey, what does that mean? Word on the street, right, Chris? Word on the street.
Yeah. Word on the street is you got put on your ass. Yeah, so we definitely Pit Bulls is looking to put some hits on some boys. So I can't wait to see what's going on next week. But all due respect to Gladiators, national champions of the TPSL, respect. But new day, new year. Yeah.
While we're seeing if Mr. Henderson and Mr. Abrams will be on or not, let's kind of preview some of the first week games that we have here in the PFA. We'll start off with week 1, May 4th. You have the Sin City Bucks versus the Indy Bison.
Ooh, that's tough.
That's a good game.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of trash talking. There's them Bison boys. You know what I'm saying? They do like to get on social media. They like to get on. They like to do that. But I will give them credit. They do back it up. But again, Sin City Bucks, they all about that action. They're definitely about that action. So that's a good test for both teams week one. You see where you at.
Another game, the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack travels to Detroit and takes on the Ravens in week one. Man, that's a tough straw to draw for first week one, man. I wish the Wolfpack the best, and
you take that straw. No disrespect.
That's a hard one to talk about. I don't want to say that who's going to win or who's not going to win, but that's going to be a tough game.
We're definitely going to have to make some picks here sooner or later, Brian.
We will. That's for another show. That's going to be the Tuesday show.
We will have to start making picks, but I don't. I'm not going to say it's completely going to be a whitewash because again, Northern Kentucky is a team built of teams, with have some talented players. So we actually don't know what they do bring to the table. So actually playing against, Detroit, we're probably going to find out what's really going on, with them. So we shall see in that regard. You know what I mean? We shall see.
Game number 3, Flag City versus the Ohio Gladiators.
Again, national champion, defending champion. Tough matchup week one. Flag City is definitely also said it from the jump. Coach said it. He's not ducking any smoke. So for him to put, like I said, a national champion on his schedule week one, hey, kudos to him.
Definitely.
Is that a game too? They're playing that.
No, that's a home game for the Phantoms. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
going to be a good environment too. That's going to be a good environment too. They're playing out there in the Bowling Green area. I'm not sure where the home games are at. I know he said they were practicing at the Bowling Green indoor facility. I'm not sure exactly where the home game for them is going to be at this year.
Yeah, I can't remember if they had one locked in when he was on the show a couple weeks ago.
I'm sure it's going to be
Glass City. The Glass City Tigers, who were supposed to be on the show, they traveled to Indianapolis to take on the Indiana Tornadoes.
Y'all can get my get back.
You're still stuck on who made that interception. That's hilarious.
Hey man, I am, man. When you listen, it's hard. I love playing semi-pro football because I got to play against a lot of different teams, and I didn't like when you played against teams that was like a merger of other teams. I like playing against new faces, new talent. Mm-hmm. So like when you play against like we talked about like a West Side Cheetahs. You know what I mean? Like new faces, new talent, new people. Gonna bring a whole new. Like I want to play against those type of things. So like I always get excited when like a Glass City or the Phantoms. Like I never got to play against these things. So I can only root for them because I know what type of area in football comes from that area.
Right.
So I just like to see good football, man. I wish in my area there were more teams like this.
Right. Oh, I lost him again. Anyways. There he is. Keep losing you, buddy. So another good game, week one. And this is kind of a rematch of last season's UFL championship game. No longer, not the XFL, the UFLs, but the old UFL. Motor City Outlaws versus the West Michigan Patriots. That's a rematch of the championship game. So, and I think the Patriots have beat them twice last season. So look for the Outlaws and Zoe Holloway over there in Detroit to get that win back.
Shout out to Zoe over there. But that's a. I mean, it's always your first week is somebody pro, and this is a thing that I just learned over time. And you gotta start out with a bang, because honestly, that's when your teams are most likely at their best. If that makes sense, Brian, because you're fully healthy, nobody's hurt. Usually, everybody makes it to the first game when it comes to semi-pro. This ladies and gentlemen, this is the back page of
Right.
semi-pro. I'm about to give you right now. Okay. When it comes to a roster, okay, and it comes to your roster, you usually are going to have between 30 and 60 players on your roster. Now, if you do by chance have a roster full of 60 players, you're going to have 30 to 25 players that are legitimately always going to be there. They are always going to be there. Rain, sleet, or snow, they're always going to be there. So, with that being said, in the beginning of the season, when you have a full roster, it's smart for you to play against harder teams because you're at full strength. And then later on in the season, you can rest said better players and play the other guys against those teams and rest your stars for the playoffs. Because in semi-pro, one injury to a semi-pro player can be the whole season. This is not the NFL. You ain't got all that medical.
Don't have the trainers and the doctors and the rehab. You got insurance that you have to pay copays and shit like that,
Exactly. So that's why a lot of these teams try to get a lot of talent on their teams. And if guys know their role, they'll know that everybody's going to get playing time at some point. Because why? We're not trying to get nobody hurt. Because the best availment is to be available. And if you have your whole squad healthy going into the playoffs or going into a championship game, you are the better team that day. You're going to have the better game that day because you have all your men. And the other team is probably missing people due to injury or missing people due to, again, this is semi-pro. You never know what happens between the beginning, the middle, and the end of the season. You might start on one team, end up on another team. So the vector, you know what I'm saying, can always waver. Your team might start out with 60 players, and all of a sudden towards the end of the season, now you only got 25. So a lot of teams always book those harder games, those tougher opponents in the beginning of the season. Why? Because at that point in time, everybody got their numbers.
Right.
Everybody thinks they're at their best, and you kind of are at that point.
Well, it looks like we'll have to get those other two guys on the next show. Speaking of next show, join us for episode 7. We will have MCFL president Marcus Thompson join us, as well as Motor City Rams player Bilal Hamodi. I hope I said that right. All that and more live on Facebook, live on YouTube on Thursday, March 28th at 7 p.m. And once the season starts, we will be going every week. Look for the rundown on Thursdays and the rundown extra point on Tuesdays. That will just be me and Chris blabbing and talking smack about the teams in the league. So
make sure you also go and like and subscribe to our podcast on Spotify. Please, right now, we only have 2 subscribers on the podcast, people. We're on Spotify, and we have 2 subscribers. This is ridiculous, and I'm saying this out of love. Please go subscribe to the show so we can get our numbers up. Please go to the Facebook page, like, subscribe, share, follow, the whole 9 yards. We love to interact. Please, as always, comment down in the chat when you do join us. If you are from a semi-pro team, what team you are affiliated with, that way we can shout the organization out and show you some love. And as always, we always like to say thank you for joining in, because without you guys, we would not be able to do this or even have a platform to make this possible. So I'm Chris Cousins, my man Brian. Been real. It's the rundown.
see you next time.